Have you ever played a video game where each level gets harder and harder and each boss more difficult? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if the game is arm wrestling, then Lynn is the player. And the final boss? It's Sasha Andreaev. Hey guys, welcome to Jawline Insider, where we talk about jawline tips and all things jawline. The internet is a cold, dark place. But hey, welcome to Arm Wrestling Insider, where we talk about arm wrestling topics and all things arm wrestling. If you like that type of thing, please consider joining the channel. Thanks. So Linn and Sasho Andreev are set to clash May 6th in Istanbul, Turkey. This match will be on the right arm and will be a world title match in the middleweight division at East versus West. Now the crazy thing about this match is that Paul is the current title holder, and yet still, for the 4th time overseas, Paul finds himself as the underdog. And the reason being, he's going against one of the greatest, most decorated, and accomplished pullers in all of arm wrestling history. And that's no exaggeration. So let's talk about it. Linn, aka the White Orc from the United States of America, has been one of the hottest and most active pullers in the arm wrestling scene today. By the way, Paul, if you're watching this video, I'm just curious, how did you get the name the White Orc, and do you like it? Because every time I hear that name, I think of a certain orc or orcai from Lord of the Rings, every single time. But that's off topic. Like I said, Paul has been pulling as much as anyone in the game the last couple of years. In the last 2 years in America, he's faced many legends, including John Brzenk, Ron Bath, as well as BJ Vikakis and Pavlo. And I'm very sorry, Pavlo, I do not know how to pronounce your last name. I'm not even gonna try. Now, aside from those matches on US soil, Paul has arguably gained more recognition for his incredible performances overseas. From what I can recall, this will be the 4th time that Paul will be competing at the East versus West League, as well as the 2nd time that he will be defending his own title. Paul has yet to lose a match in Turkey, winning super matches against David Samusha and even the man, the myth, and the legend, Rustam Babayev. Going into every single one of these matches, Paul has always been the underdog, and yet every single time he's come out victorious. What Paul has done internationally is honestly incredible and extremely rare. It's not very often you see Americans hopping over the pond and performing this well, this quickly. Now, Paul's versatile in the top roll as well as the hook, and as we've learned in the last year and a half, Paul's hook is up there with the very best in the world in his weight class. After being down 2-0 to Rustam, Paul shot straight into a hook with him in round 3. And though unfortunately we were unable to see exactly how the match would end due to an injury to Rustam, we can honestly say with certainty that Paul was able to hold his own. And not many people on earth can say that. Despite all the victories and all the respect Paul's earned in the last 2 years, he still somehow finds himself as the underdog. And well, that's because of the man that he's going up against. There is a superstar returning to challenge him. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger to face Linn at East versus West 7 for the title match is the great and the powerful Sasho Andreaev. Now, I'm going to assume most of you do not need an introduction to who this guy is, but if you are new here, let me fill you in on his accolades. This man is a 10-time gold medalist at the World Championships. He's a 10-time gold medalist at the European Championships, and he's a 7-time national overall champion in Bulgaria. And if you know anything about Bulgaria and arm wrestling, you'll know how amazing that is. And Michael Todd, if you're watching this, you'll like this next one. Sasho Andreaev has over 100 first place trophies in tournaments. And anyone who knows anything about arm wrestling knows the most important feats are being the #1 guy in the world, and just above that, 100 first place trophies. Now, Sasho Andreaev is the perfect example of a puller who took whatever genetic build he had and was given and did the absolute most with it. Sasho was only around 5'5" with shorter fingers and a shorter arm than nearly everyone that he pulls against, and yet he's able to use his strengths to the absolute highest level. 2 of the top words to describe Sasho are explosive and powerful, and he combines both of those qualities to become one of the best hook pullers on the entire planet. Once inside of the hook, he has incredible horsepower and side pressure, and pins his opponents efficiently in a sweeping sideways motion. To quote Linn quoting Todd Hutchins, no matter what type of frame and what build you are genetically given, if you are smart, you are always able to find a way to turn that build into an advantage. And there's no better example of this than Sasho. For Sasho, that shorter arm allows him to set up with his arm closer to a vertical position on the table, and as soon as he hears the words go, he uses incredible speed to set the hook, and with unworldly power, he throws his arm and body to the side. Now, if you've never watched a highlight video, I strongly suggest you change that. He's a super explosive and super fun guy to watch, and he's absolutely a killer in tournament format. He absolutely walks through his opponents at most competitions, and most of his matches end in flash pins. Some of the biggest names this guy has pins on are Babayev and Prudnik. Now, I will be honest, we haven't seen this guy in a super match in a little while. The most recent ones that come to mind are his match against RVJ, where he won 6-0, as well as his match against Irakli Zarakashvili, where Sasha won that one as well. However, both of those matches were already about 2 years ago. But Sasho did compete in the 2022 European Champions, where he won no problem. I promise you, this guy has not been sleeping, and no one should sleep on him. This will be Sasho's first appearance at East vs West, and against Paul Lynn, it's going to be a great match. If you haven't bought your pay-per-views yet, I strongly suggest you do. I have a feeling this could be the absolute match of the night. Just trust me when I say you do not want to miss it. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you would, please leave a comment as to who you think will win this match. Do you agree Paul is the underdog, or do you think Paul should be the favorite? Who do you think is going to win? What do you think the score is going to be? Yada, yada, yada. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everyone.